Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Kim Duramo. I'm here with Ria Lala, who is a relationship specialist, an emotional intelligence specialist, and she's been working with kids over the past several years to connect them with their emotional intelligence. The reason I was excited to bring Ria on is because I have found this to be one of the most important things that we can learn as an adult to function in our world in a harmonious and successful way. Not how good am I at math or how many languages do I speak or do I know US history, but actually how can I connect with others very quickly in an authentic, loving way and create a really powerful exchange for creating things together, connecting together and having a rich and beautiful life. So when I found her work, I immediately signed my daughter up for learning this emotional intelligence, and I wanted to share her program with you. So I know that Ria has worked with people around the world, internationally, with parents and children, but also with larger governmental programs, with the United Nations, which I thought was really interesting. It has really developed some incredible work. So welcome, Ria, to the community.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm really excited to be with you, Kim.
Well, I want to share a little bit about my experience. My daughter's 8,
Yes.
and how we've used the program and why I'm so enthusiastic about recommending you. She is very social, but
Yes.
there are little glitchy things that come up for her around connecting with others, and it will really hit hard. Like it matters a lot that so and so talked to me today, or I'm getting, not connecting with this one so well. Like it's more important to her than anything.
Yes.
But this, you have these 15-minute segments in the course. Right now, she's in a homeschool curriculum. She has been for the past couple of years, but I know a lot of kids are in a different kind of curriculum doing remote learning. And I
Yes.
think this is one of the fundamental things that should be in a child's curriculum. So why don't you share a little bit about yourself, why you're doing this work, and what kinds of things you've seen with the kids you've worked with?
Okay. So I've been doing this work for about 20 years, but really in the last decade is where I've started to work with parents and with kids. And here's what really became apparent to me when I started to work in the school system and even amongst friend groups and watching the dynamics that occur. And there seem to be fundamental things that come up again and again. So for example, a child struggling to be able to express what their needs are and create a boundary. And so all of a sudden, maybe a friend trespasses on that boundary and the child feels hurt, they feel defeated, and they don't know how to navigate that space. Maybe there's a situation where there's a power struggle that ensues. This happens all the time, meaning one person wants one thing or sees the world one way, another child sees the world another way, and all of a sudden each one of them are jockeying for position to see who's right. And in that tug of war, all of a sudden you have a feeling of disconnection, and somebody goes away with their shoulders slumped and they're feeling defeated. And one person feels victorious at the sacrifice of the relationship, right? So these were things that were occurring again and again. I was very lucky that I had the opportunity to go to Estonia with MindBody, and there were about 80 kids from all around the world. And you know what's really interesting is it didn't matter whether you're from China, India, South America, North America, same fundamental things would be coming up when you ask them about where are the places where you feel like where you feel hurt in a friendship, or where you feel that there's a disconnection between mom and dad. What are the things that keep coming up? And there seemed to be a consensus on what was holding back connection, right? Listen, we're on this earth for X amount of time, and we're out to know. I mean, it doesn't matter, as you said, what like math and science, speaking how many languages. We can do all those check marks in the box, but if we don't feel richly connected to our friendships, to our partners, to the world at large, and to ourselves, then what's the point of it all? So I really started to look at what are the things that I was doing with my children and working with other kids to do that would help them optimize their relationships inside the house with siblings and with their friends. So that's why I started this program. And essentially, it's an EQ masterclass for kids. Yeah.
This, Ria, this is, I would say, the number one skill we could possibly have
Oh my
to
goodness.
go into adulthood. And if we develop this as a child, I know like severe injuries, I've had emotional injuries, like when I was at that age, because I didn't know how to communicate that way or handle things in a win-win. That's a pact in me for my entire life.
Yes.
So I think this is one of the reasons I was really emphatic about sharing this with others, because I had the idea after I did the program, like, I've got to reach out to her and I want to share this with more people.
Well,
Giving kids these tools, like, and what you talked about with the second piece, where they go deeper into the, how do I connect with my intuition and love? That's the other piece, because there's two components of this program. This is something I think should be put into like regular every school curriculum. In the future, certainly will be, but we can get ahead of that and begin this now for our own kids.
Well, emotions are what drive every decision we make. So whether your child puts their hand up and says, choose me, whether the child has the courage to put themselves out there to try it for the team, whether we know how to navigate the really complex, intricate emotional realm, that, I mean, imagine children being able to learn how to navigate that space, places that we ourselves had to bumble our way through in our teens, in our 20s, in our 30s, in our 40s, to be able to, or how many friendships have we lost? How many times have we had a disempowering conversation where we feel like, what's wrong with me or what's wrong with them? And then all of a sudden, two people never speak again. And it doesn't feel like it's been tied with a bow. So I believe, strongly believe, and have seen that if we can see this for children in a way that's fun and engaging, and they're able to learn these tools so that in the future they're able to build on them, in their relationships, and now they're ahead. Now they're off to the races. And I do agree with you. There will be a time when this is in schools, but right now the emotional realm is largely ignored in typical schools.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I love, we'll talk a little bit about the structure of the program, because it worked really well with Gemma. She's 8, where, it's 15 minutes, and it's a 15 minutes of engaging, and there's tools, and there's, it's one little piece. It's not, let me give you a bunch of information. Each week is one little nugget. And I know for sure these things are showing up in her life. Like, one of them was about, different people having different opinions, and this person expresses this, and I'm going to actually have her watch that again, because it's coming up in her interaction with her group. But she has those little nuggets that they'll light up when she's in that interaction. She's learning it now in the 15 minutes, but it's going to show up whether it's this year or next year. It's planting a seed, so she has the awareness of a bigger picture of what's going on.
Exactly. Well, it was really important because I have kids myself, and I understand kids. Okay. And kids have lots of things that are pulling for their attention. So the question is how can you make something that's really useful and engaging and have it in, I mean, who doesn't have 15 minutes in a week to sit down, right? Like 15 minutes. I even ask my own kids, I go, okay, because we talk about emotions and stuff all the time. And I go, listen, would you sign up for a course where you had to, spend 15 minutes, and what's waiting for them? What's waiting for the child? Because really, this is not about the parents going, hey, do you want to do this course? Here's what's waiting for you. Would you love to be able to have really extraordinary relationships with your friends? I can't name a kid on the planet that wouldn't answer yes to that. Okay. Would you rather have more peace between your siblings or just feel better about your life? I can't name a kid on the planet that wouldn't answer yes to that. So if we can, so that's why I created it in 15-minute chunks. Basically, the way the course is structured is, I mean, ideally, this is for kids between 8 and 15, because they need to be able to sit for 15 minutes. Okay. Some kids are a little bit more mature than others, and they might be able to join in, but if they can't sit for 15 minutes, then it probably wouldn't be the right time yet for them. However, for 15 minutes, the course comes in, and you would just, it would come into your email, you'd play it for your child, and in a very engaging, enlightening way, we cover topics like how to empower friends, how to ask good questions, how to build deeper relationships, how to express your needs with kindness, what to do if you're in a power struggle with your friends. What do you do? So these are not like theoretical things. This is where we take real life situations that kids have gone through, that I've experienced after working with lots of them and hearing all their feedback, and going, okay, let's take the situation and see how would we navigate it. Here's the skill set. And so once we offer that to the children, then I give them something called fun work, which means that we don't want it to just go off in the ether. So there's something fun that they get to use to practice that out in their real life. And then the other piece of that is that their parents get an email after the session, and it walks through exactly what we covered. So not only do they get to learn a little bit more about that topic, but it also highlights what can you do as a parent that can help support your child, for example, in building their intuition, or deepening their friendship, or using some of the strategies we learned to calm yourself down so you don't start spiraling and worrying about things that don't serve you.
Well, I know a lot of people in my community are very, very intuitive and empathic, and they have kids who are really energy sensitive. Most kids are.
Yes.
So I think it's such an essential to give those kids those kinds of tools. And I think you're the person who's doing such a great job at this that I was really excited to share as a resource. I would say even for older than 15-year-olds, this was really useful for me. And I'm 47.
Yeah.
I would have thought if I were 16, 17, 18, like, I mean, even beyond that, that these would be really useful and insightful. So
I agree.
there's no question, that
Yeah.
the way you present it, because it's really, really simple for that kid, but it's like, it's really good for me too. So I'll share the link so people can have access to that. And that's a 10-week program. And then there's a second one that's the follow-up that goes deeper beyond that. It's another 10-week program. I've found it pretty easy to do. It is a commitment because you've got to put it on your schedule that once a week, whether it's at dinner time or while you're in the car, but that you plug in that 15 minutes. It will really go a long way for your kid.
Exactly. I mean, you can watch it as a family. You can watch it on your own. You can ask your child, okay, listen, it's 15 minutes. Let's put it on and let's see what we get from it. So, however you want to use it is fine. But again, 15 minutes in an entire week is for what you get out of it, to be able to connect, to understand your friends better, to connect with your friends better, to feel calmer around them. It really is, it's priceless. It's for me and for my children, it's been priceless.
Yeah, I agree. It's priceless. I'm actually we'll talk after about, she's in a community who's all learning together during remote learning. And
yes.
I think it would be a good thing for them to plug into their day once a week. I think all these other parents are like-minded and would really appreciate that. But there are ways, you could plug it into a group that your child is in, so they're all learning this together as well.
Absolutely.
Well, why don't you share your general website so people can find you? I'll share the link to the course so they have that as well. Anything you want to leave us with?
Well, what I'd love to encourage every parent that's watching is to think about that. Really, what is it that you want to create for your kids? Yeah. And if one of the things which I would guess that all parents want to create is, I want my kids to feel the ability to express their needs, know what they're feeling, express it with confidence, and create really good, rich relationships. If that's the answer, if that's the question, if that's what you want to create, then I would just check out the page and see if this is something that resonates with your heart. I mean, I'm a big believer that if it speaks to you and it speaks to things that you yourself might have wanted when you were a kid, go for it, because it's a no-brainer. So I don't know if you know the link, but the link is buildgreatminds.com/KidsEQ, KIDSEQ. And you can find out everything you want to know about that particular program and see what's there. And you, of course, my website is buildgreatminds.com, but buildgreatminds.com/KidsEQ. Take a look. And, if it feels like something that you get excited about, then, I really hope to see you in the program, because the feedback has been amazing.
Thank you so much. Beautiful. I'm so glad that we connected. I love the work you're doing. I think you're an extraordinary woman. And thank you for what this has done for my child and sharing this with my community. So lots of love to everyone. If there are questions, you can reach out to me or Rhea. And we look forward to creating a more beautiful world through things like this work with our children.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kim. Take care. Goodbye, everyone.